weird 3D model version. Oh,
I just need
you
to focus on. I just need to move on from things I can't stand. That being.
Transformers making pancakes.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean the fucking chickification of characters I like.
Chickification?
It's a TV trope's turn. It's basically whenever like a strong female character ends up turning into like somewhat like some fucking just like stereotype girl character who does nothing and adds nothing to the plot.
I would be fine with that in only one situation, and that would be if they were pregnant and the story was about them trying to, get
Even
back
then,
to how they were before they were pregnant,
That'd be something plot inducive though, and even then, like someone becoming pregnant wouldn't exactly like just take any ability to fight out of them.
Well, no, not their ability, but they're currently holding a child. What do you want them to do?
I mean, you could have it like that.
Person here, hold this.
Honestly, I'm just flashing. God, I can't remember what it is, but it's. I think it's a Japanese-made movie, and it's this whole thing like this mercenary dude who's like, like finding an abandoned baby or some shit, and so like fight scenes while he's holding the baby, and he's just beating the shit out of people while carrying the thing.
Does he use the baby like a blunt object?
No.
I'm already not interested then. Come on, man. Like... Baby flails are in this season.
Baby what?
Baby flail.
Oh. Okay. I thought you said something far worse.
I don't know what's worse than a baby flail.
Baby file, I thought is what you said.
Oh, like I have a file on a baby?
No, as in file, as in the fetish.
Oh. Oh.
That's what I thought you said.
Okay, yeah, that's weird.
The point is, someone getting back to their ass-kicking ways after having a baby would at least be something that's plot intuitive and also would still focus on the fact that the character was and probably still is a badass.
I could just picture someone being like, she's pregnant, that means she's weak now, get her! Just like grabs him by the head and slams him into the ground before turning back to their child. Just no, I'm busy.
It's like they've just been out of practice for a few months.
Here's the thing though, they could also just be done with it because they've been raising a child and they can't get any sleep properly, so they're just like extra mean today.
Yeah. I mean, I did end up like thinking of a plot like that as the whole thing of like, kind of surprised about looking after the kid. You do realize that hiring nannies is a thing, right?
Cut to like the nanny. Why is this child so strong? Stop!
It's the baby setting everything on fire.
Or it's like either a nanny or you hired a sitter, and it's just like some young girl, or just some young kid. It's like, oh my gosh, this is the worst child I've ever had to care for, but I need that money.
Yeah. The whole thing is like, you do realize sitters are a thing, right? I have a job.
I hire a sitter anyways.
I have to get more money because of this thing. I can't afford to take more days off. Anyway, I'm Llytic.
I'm Zane, and today we're not talking about Transformers or chickification, because this character wasn't really badass in the first place.
I mean, granted, it depends on which character we're talking about. Are we talking about Bella or Edward?
Well, I said chickified Edward? What?
Edward, only more useless.
They have the kid and he just becomes like a stay-at-home dad.
Honestly, I'd probably be okay with something like that if it weren't shaming someone for being a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
But I will say, Robert Pattinson is probably a perfect fit for the new Batman, because both Edward and Bruce Wayne are broody rich sad boys with dead parents who are in some way affiliated with bats.
I'm upset about that, though. I would hope that he would have roles that aren't always the same thing.
You're upset that he's being typecast?
Yeah, poor guy.
Why is Robert Pattinson playing another broody rich sad boy with dead parents and some sort of bad affiliation?
Then again, I actually don't know anything about him, so like I don't know if he's been in any other movies since then. Kind of thought he fell off the face of the earth.
He's been in a few things since then, but he's basically been stuck with just the association with Twilight and hasn't been able to shake it.
Oh, so he's trying to use Batman to get around that.
Might be. I mean, the weird thing about it is that people have been, again, using the whole thing of like, oh, Edward's an effeminate character. And it's like, nah, he's really more of a stereotypical toxic male character.
Yeah, he's just toxic. He needs to get out of my lobby.
He's very much a masculine character. He just so happens to glitter in sunlight. That's the only effeminate thing about him.
You know those birds in Australia that attack people?
Magpies?
Whichever, like the really dangerous ones, you know, like nearing their like nesting season or whatever.
Okay, yeah, magpies during swooping season. I was like, there's a lot of dangerous birds in Australia.
Yeah, but so I'm just picturing like they see like this sparkly dude come out and like they try to attack him, but they keep getting blinded by his sparkles. They like
Australian
hit the ground.
Vampires keep getting attacked by magpies.
They look shiny.
Anyway, yeah, we're reading Midnight Sun, and I do find it funny that I had no idea about Twilight's like more recent resurgence this year before we started reading this. I was just like, hey, you know what we need to get around to? Twilight.
I don't know why. Every time you decide something, I end up suffering.
Well, that ends up being that way with every story that you're here for. People like neckbeard stories. Unfortunately, they're psychologically damaging for Zane to read.
I've only read one, actually.
I've read two.
Two? Which ones?
There was I
read Pajama Beard and...
Yeah, there was Pajama Beard, and then there was...
Oh, wait, no, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I don't want to be reminded. Let's move on.
Yeah. Point is, we would do more neckbeard stories since those get the most views, but Zane would probably be his mental state would probably be irreparable.
And the topic was closed, right?
Well, there's still r/tales of neckbeards.
Yeah. Where's Oofbeard?
It's probably somewhere in France dealing with eggs.
That was a reference, and it went right over my head.
Put in the word egg in a English to French Google translation.
Google Translato. Egg. Where's French? French. Alright, well, this has been a nice episode. Oof. Oof.
Yeah. If you have it play the pronunciation, it just goes oof. Like just oof. A French oof.
Oof, beard.
Anyway, we have just gotten to the part where we left off was Twilight. Bella on the verge of being passed out after the whole blood thing in class, despite not being cut open herself, because apparently she's just weak to blood. I really have some concerns about her passing out once a month. Anyway.
What? Sorry, I'm reading the TV tropes for chickification now. I mean, I know this is real, but I haven't really, seen it in a while.
Yeah, it's not something. It's not something that happens very often. Very often today. The last time I remember it being implemented, Transformers 2, with Megan Fox's character, in which he went from someone who was trying to deal with the stigma of having a dad who was in jail and not being taken seriously as someone who worked on cars because of the fact that she was a woman, to someone who just wanted her boyfriend to propose. As well as the secretary, Janine, in the Real Ghostbusters show, in which she started out as a strong, confident character who saved the main, the Ghostbusters ass multiple times, including one time in which she literally, fought off a god to save them. Right. She busted a god to someone who was just a stereotypical motherly character. Yeah, that one was because of studio interference, because fuck them. I go from a character people like to someone who no one gives a shit about.
Because it's not with the demographic, clearly. That's what the problem is here.
Yes, but after they started doing that, ratings tanked. Because no one wanted to watch it anymore. Probably because they started putting Slimer at the forefront whenever he was always best, whenever he was a background character that occasionally had a gag.
Oh.
Instead of someone who was always in charge and never shutting up. I kid you not, one of the things that they changed during one of the things that the studio had them change when that happened was the shape of Janine's glasses from like the triangular pointed lenses, like frames that she had, to round ones, because children are afraid of sharp objects.
What?
That was the reason they gave. I'm not kidding.
That's just sharp. Sorry, your glasses are too sharp.
It's scaring the children.
I don't think that's how that works, but okay.
It's not. Just really fucking stupid. Yeah, a character who went from like just sarcastically giving the main character shit and like being someone who was very much in charge of their life to just some fucking useless fucking stereotype. Good. Anyway, get back to this.
Yeah.
Her eyes popped open, astonished. Your line, Zane. Okay. Well, I guess this is a thing now. This is every episode that was recorded this weekend has just been a bit off.
Sorry about that. Both of my parents just walked into the room I was recording in and just started talking loud to me, and my dad started trying to harass me.
Okay, then.
So now I have to pull it up on my phone because I am in my room now. Oh, I also need to charge my phone.
Well.
My mother's even like, he's recording right now, and then I got up and walked away. My dad's just like, what are you doing?
Getting in a place with less noise.
Yep. Alright, hold on though. So, fuck, I forgot the name of this stupid story. Is it
Midnight Sun?
Mr. Bean's Adventure?
Also, I'm not entirely sure how well you'll be able to pull up a PDF on your phone.
Probably not very well.
I think your best bet would have... I'm trying to remember any of the times I've had to do that, and it is weird.
Yeah. Midnight Sun, Stephenie Meyer, and then I just have to scroll all the way down to page 127.
Oops.
Let's see. 150. 130. Put me down, she ordered in a weak voice, embarrassed again, I guess from her expression she didn't like to show weakness. Or maybe you're just touching her without consent?
There's a chance of that. I barely heard Mike's shouted protest behind us.
You look awful, I told her, grinning because there was nothing wrong with her but a light head and a weak stomach. Oh my gosh. Bella, stab him in the eye.
I swear all the main characters in this series, are just Raj from Big Bang Theory.
You're gonna have to like me what the big problem with that is, because I never really saw it.
Basically just like an annoying, creepy, controlling character.
Me.
I fail to see how you try to control anything.
You just
As
see
you
me in the
said when
background
we
trying to
talked,
force people with like Star Wars Force.
oh,
I just have my hand up, my eyes are kind of closed.
I was about to say, as we've said when you talked about why you couldn't play Magic the Gathering, I don't think you have the forethought to be able to try and control people. I'm just really bad at planning.
Yeah, just like, alright, I have them on my grass. Now I can get them to do what I want them to. Which is, what again?
I
don't really have a plan for
do
this.
what I want. Where are you going?
I didn't really think I'd get this far.
I will fully admit that in Magic the Gathering, I never plan more than one turn ahead, because if I do any more than that, something will come out of fucking left field. And I'll have to completely improvise.
Shit, I wasn't ready for this.
Oh, okay. Guess we're trying something new now. Because
Plan
the big
B.
fuck-off creature keeps getting killed before I can use it. Get this engine rolling somehow, some other way.
God damn, just like, I can't play this, I'm too pissed off.
You missed the game where, like, Tom kept killing, like, my commander for that deck. And so it was like, fuck it. I'll do something else. And then ended up creating, like, an absolutely horrible army. Without the thing that makes everything cheap.
Oh, big rip.
Yeah. It was like one of those things. It was like you missed the forest for the trees. Only in this case, the forest is oncoming traffic, and the trees are more oncoming traffic.
Oh god.
Anyway. Like, the worst deck I have is probably still one that I thoroughly enjoy, and that's just because it's made entirely out of sea monsters.
Oh, nice.
So it's like everything keeps getting sent back to people's hands. Oh, you have a big creature? It'll be a shame if you had to play it again. Anyway. Put me back on the sidewalk, she said. Her lips were white.
I'm bothered by that line, but I don't know
why. Her lips were white?
Yeah.
Basically just means that, like, the color had drained from her face. Like, not a lot of blood was in her
Edward
face.
did consent to this, W.
What?
Edward doesn't have her consent to pick her up.
Oh, this part. Okay, yeah.
He's being a fucking weirdo.
Granted, she was
blood. Couldn't get any more ironic.
No, yeah, it's fantasy. It is something that really annoys me, because, like, the majority of women I know have no issue whatsoever with blood.
Probably because it comes out of them every month.
Like, the whole thing is like, yeah, I have issues with, like, used Band-Aids. Because those are gross. That's blood that's been sitting around a while.
Yeah.
At least when it's inside the body, I don't have to look at it. And it hasn't been sitting around a while to, like, pick up a whole bunch of outside bacteria. Who knows what could be growing in that now?
Oh, ugh. No. Stop.
Like, that's the whole thing. But yeah, like, I think I only know of, like, one woman. Like, I only know one woman who has an issue with blood. And that's everyone's blood, granted. But
what?
Everyone's blood.
Oh.
But it's, like, I know far more guys who have issues with blood than I do women. Just like more guys I know have issues with spiders than women.
What?
Granted, there is a possibility that there is a possibility that I just know some strange women, but but yeah.
Wait, it's probably because you're going into that field. What?
What field? Oh, right. I thought you meant a literal field.
No.
It's like, wait, what?
You took an arachnology class or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I did.
Yeah, of course you know people who like spiders.
It was like, only 2 people ever screamed in that class, and that was one who hated seeing things suffer and also just didn't like things flying at their face. So anytime, like, she walked through a field of grasshoppers, she'd get, like, freaked out because they were all, like, jumping towards her face.
We must eliminate them.
And a male classmate of mine who didn't see a snake slithering past his foot.
Oh, that would be terrifying.
When it was completely dark, and so, like, just, like, turns, like, looks down with the flashlight and sees the snake slither past his foot, and he screams. Like, no one else really had an issue. It was like, my whole issue when dealing with, like, small animals, like bugs or whatever, is more that I'm usually, like, more afraid of accidentally hurting them than anything else.
I just don't like to get bit by things.
Yeah, but, like, the majority of things aren't going to bite you.
I don't know about that, Chief.
Like, the only reason most things would bite you, unless there's stuff like mosquitoes, which feed on blood, is because of the fact that you've cornered them. And so they feel like escape is no longer an option.
No, man, I don't corner things. I get up on my chair and scream like a girl, just, And by girl, I mean, like, old TV stuff, kind of.
Like that fucking stereotypical honeymooner shit.
Well, no, I meant like in Tom and Jerry. I think that happened in that once.
Might have, yeah. Let's see. She closed her eyes together. She closed her eyes and pressed her lips together.
Let's see.
And not?
She closed her eyes and pressed her lips
No, that was
together
my
and
line.
spat in my face.
Still my line.
And
Yours
not
is the
even
next.
your own blood, I added with a grin widening.
I want to punch him.
Me too.
We were to the front office. The door was propped an inch open. That's a weird statement. And I kicked it out of my way. Or you could use Bella as a battering. Wait.
We were to the front office. It makes me think he's like going into the front office, like where the principal would be. He's just like kicking the door in.
I mean, granted, that's my favorite response to anyone who asks for a hand with the door. Like, their hands are full. It's like, hey, can you give me a hand? Can you open the door for me? Hands are kind of full. Just kicks it open.
Thanks. I have to get that fixed now.
I've only ever done it with the push lever doors, so it was the whole thing of me kicking it also, like, undid the latch.
Oh.
It was just a whole thing of, like, what I was doing is something that they could easily do.
Yeah. Well, gee, you sarcastic little shit. Just like I could just picture you there, like kicking the door and like looking at them proudly, like, you could have done that, dummy.
Anyway.
Anywho, Miss Cope jump. Wait.
Yep.
Is that my line?
Yes.
Oh my! She gasped as she examined the ashen girl in my arms.
You could just say pale.
Skin.
She fainted in biology, I explained, before my imagination could get too out of hand.
Miss Cope hurried to
before her imagination, not before my. Whoops.
What? Miss Cope hurried to open the door to the nurse's office. Bella's eyes were open again. Watching her, I heard the elderly nurse internal astonishment as I laid the girl carefully on the one shabby bed. As soon as Bella was out of my arms, I put the width of the room between us. My body was too excited, too eager, my muscles tense and the venom flowing. She was so warm and fragrant.
You know what would have made this scene more interesting?
If you jumped onto the bed with her, like, I don't want to let go, she's too warm.
No, I was thinking if the way he was carrying her was a fireman's carry.
He just slams her on the bed.
Just like carrying her into the nurse's office over both his shoulders.
Oh, I was thinking like over one shoulder.
No, fireman's carry is over both.
Ah. Guess it's to, I don't know, keep them more stably on you or whatever.
Basically.
Ugh.
Let me find a picture of it. Because the whole thing is that you usually have... yeah, here's a good example of it. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Just like instead of any sort of romantic hold, it's just like, all right.
Mike's just behind them watching as Edward runs off with this girl over his shoulders.
Just like
the nurse's office?
The least romantic carry you could possibly do.
Oh, damn. I need to find that old picture. It was just like different styles or like ways to carry someone.
Yeah.
And it had stuff like the fireman's, the bridal, but then it had other stuff like holding them by their feet behind your head, so like their legs are above your head, but their head's like near your feet, like you could almost kick them in the head on accident.
Yeah. I mean, granted, with how tall I am, the majority of people I tried to do that with would probably have their head more at knee level than anything else.
And then with me, they'd probably be dragged along the floor.
Now I'm just flashing back to that time when I was like lifted someone up and accidentally got like her fucking heels caught in a guardrail.
Why are you picking people up? Were you trying
Not
to
going to explain too much of the context of the situation. I
wonder what you did then.
I mean, the most I'm going to say is that her legs were wrapped around me, and that's where we're going to leave that.
Anywho, is it my line?
No, it's my line. She's just a little faint, I reassured Mrs. Hammond. They're blood typing in biology.
Oh my fuck! I'm gonna slap Edward. She nodded, understanding now. There's always one.
Is there?
Maybe in high school, but not college. Then again, you probably had to sign up for that class still in high school.
I don't remember ever doing blood typing in high school, but I'm pretty sure the thing that people have more issue with is needles than they ever do blood.
Yeah, were they tearing something open? Because that could have been it too.
Why would they be tearing something open?
They're doing anatomy and like dissecting it.
Yeah, something like that. Well, usually if it's something like that,
very negative connotation.
Usually if it's something like that, that's something that you let the professor know beforehand.
Like,
or the teacher, not professor. Whoops. Like, hey, I have issues with looking at the insides of things.
And your teachers will be like, haha, I guess you can just take a 0.
Or, depending on how they are, just end up doing some, like, just...
An essay?
Like an essay or some shit instead.
Yeah, it'll probably just be an essay.
Your line. Oh, my line.
Oh, right. What?
I stifled a laugh. Trust Bella to be that one. Fuck off.
Just lie down for a minute, honey, Mrs. Hammond said. It'll pass.
I know, Bella said.
Does this happen often? The nurse asked.
Sometimes, Bella admitted.
Try to disguise my laughter as coughing. I want to stab Edward.
Such a patronizing ass.
Edward count that just starts at 1,000.
God damn it. This brought me to the nurse's attention. You go back to class now, she said.
Yeah, fuck off, Edward. I looked her straight in the eye and lied with perfect confidence. I'm supposed to stay with her.
No, you aren't.
Bella is able to speak. She could just be like, no.
Oh, shit. We have an internal thought. As most thoughts. God damn it. Okay, give me a sec.
That guy from the 3rd season of Digimon that spoke his mind in the literal sense?
Hey.
And most of what he said was stuff that he thought that the main female leader of the cast was in love with him.
Well, that's disturbing.
Because he thought that she could like read his mind perfectly. He thought that she was in love with him. There's literally just one point where she's just like, "No, dumbass, you just yell out whatever you're thinking." And he's like, "I yell out whatever I'm thinking." And then he gets like super mad, if I recall.
I wonder. Oh well.
Dumb you are. Leave,
Mrs.
you must.
Hammond nodded.
It worked just fine on her. Why did Bella have to be so difficult?
We'll go get some ice for your forehead, dear, the nurse said, slightly uncomfortable from looking into my eyes the way humans should be, and left the room.
You were right. Bella moaned, closing her eyes.
What did she mean? I jumped to the worst conclusion. She'd accepted my warnings.
I usually am. Ooh! That one hurt a bit, actually.
There's confidence and then there's narcissism.
I said, trying to keep the amusement in my voice. It sounded sour now. But about what in this particular this time?
Ditching is healthy. She sighed.
Relief again. I nutted in my pants.
Ew. She was silent then. She just breathed slowly in and out. Her lips were beginning to turn pink. Her mouth was slightly out of balance. Her lower lip just too full to match the top. A person's lower and upper lip don't typically match thickness. What? What?
I just picture everyone in Edward's family has like equally sized lips.
That is weird. I'm thinking about like horizontally symmetrical lips and it is creeping me out.
I'm just thinking like it has to match the lower lip, so she just has like constantly duck face.
Like like this is pissing me off more than it should. This is basic anatomy, Edward.
But Edward,
you're 100 years old. You should have a grasp on this by now.
Hold on, aren't like the vampires supposed to be like inhumanly pretty in this?
Yes.
So I'm wondering if like either Stephenie Meyer thinks or just in this universe, perfect looking lips are equally sized.
Oh God.
Hold on, I gotta look at Stephenie Meyer's face real quick. Stephenie Meyer. Okay.
What?
I'm just focusing so hard on her lips now. And I'm worried if it like the first picture, does this look at least semi close to the same size?
A little bit. And the weird thing to me is the fact that I swear her lower lip has like the matching like indentation that the top lip always does.
Yeah.
Which like, weirds me out.
Yeah.
It's like other pictures I'm finding, like her mouth looks like a normal human one. But that was a weird statement. Like this one. But yeah, like her
lips are really close to the same size.
Yeah, her lower lip is weirdly thin compared to the top lip.
She's basing it off of herself, so that's her own ideas.
Her own idea of like how her own idea of how lips are supposed to look is like hers.
Yes.
I'm a little uncomfortable with that. It's like the times I have made sure to draw the lip on a like add detail to the lips of a character. It's always been a whole thing of the lower lip is slightly thicker than the upper lip because that's how most people tend to look.
But is it most people or is it just you? Ooh.
How old is Stephenie Meyer?
Probably like 3. At the very least.
She's 45? Huh. Okay, I will say this for her. She does not look 45. Like, she looks more mid-30s.
I'm going to chalk that up to Photoshop and makeup.
Good on you for whatever your skincare regimen is.
What?
What?
What were you saying?
Good on you for whatever your skincare regimen is, Stephenie Meyer.
Yeah, like I'm gonna say she's an actor, so she's famous, so they probably make her look, extra pretty.
Yeah, but there's still only so much you could do, and like the majority of those photos weren't like glamour shots or anything. It was just regular like press photos.
She's probably rich. She can afford it.
Well, I mean, she is now. But yeah, so I mean, I might not like what you write. Good on you for taking care of yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
Although the picture of her on Time magazine makes me laugh. I mean, for a Time YouTube video makes me laugh. Just because of the expression. I do also find it funny, like, any picture that has both her and Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart looks so goddamn uncomfortable.
Why?
I don't know. Like, I think that she just finds Stephenie to be uncomfortable to be around, and also Kristen Stewart straight up said, like, I never wanted to be a big name actress in the first place. I was totally cool with just doing smaller roles.
Oh.
I love acting. I just didn't want to get famous.
And then she became famous through this, right?
Yeah, this is like, great. This gave me a name.
I didn't want it.
This made me a star. I never wanted to be a star.
I wanted to act and maybe avoid the paparazzi, but now I can't.
So I think that she might just be like a legitimately awkward person.
So I'm looking at the chickification thing right now, and there's a webcomic page, and there's a character from Sonic Chew that was apparently chickified.
That doesn't surprise me, knowing Chris Chan. She seems like she's be the kind of person that does that.
Wait, she?
A while back, they came out as trans.
So like, they were a girl and they became a guy, or?
No. They were born a guy, and they are currently saying that they're a girl. And I'm gonna have very least respect that much of them.
I'm gonna forget that in about 3 seconds. Probably say it anyways.
Good chance of that.
Yep.
Yeah, like this trope just is something that kind of pisses me off.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, hey, you have this badass female character who does things of her own accord and actually has agency, and now, never mind. It's like, it's not like a whole thing of, oh, the character just didn't, it's not like a whole thing of, oh, the character didn't start out with, like, stereotypically feminine traits and just suddenly developed them. It's just a whole thing of, oh, no, they're no longer actually doing anything. They no longer matter in regards to the plot.
It's like, well, it's like watching a sprinter and then on like 100-meter dash and they trip at like 25 meters. It's like, oh, I was really looking forward to this, but not anymore.
Anyway, shit. Let's see, where are we? Your line. No, my line. Did you say relief again?
I think so, yeah.
Alright. She was silent then. She just... Oh, wait, yeah. Staring at her mouth made me feel strange.
That's a strange thing to do.
You're just making me uncomfortable, Edward.
Just staring at somebody's lips constantly.
Made me want to move closer to her, which was not a good idea.
You scared me for a minute there, I said to restart the conversation so I could hear her voice again. I thought Newton was dragging your dead body off to bury it in the woods.
I mean, that seems like something either one of you two would do, really.
What?
Either Edward or Newton. They're both jealous asses.
But, like, dragging her into the woods? Why? I thought that...
If I can't have you, no one can.
Oh, so they're yandere.
I mean, like I said, jealous assholes. Seems pretty yandere to me.
Yeah.
You're creeping me out, she said.
Honestly, I've seen corpses with better color. Bella? This is a warning sign!
Edward, I'm going to bitch slap you with a car.
Like, this is the part where you go home to your dad and say, like, yeah, there's a crazy guy at school. Can I go to a different one?
I've seen corpses that look better. That's... Someone with any sort of charm could pull that line off. Unfortunately, you're Edward Cullen.
Or maybe somebody whose parents worked at a morgue.
Unfortunately, you're Edward Cullen.
Unfortunately, you don't work at the morgue. My parents work at the crematorium. I've seen bodies burning for years.
I don't know why, I'm just imagining like that on a shirt or something. Unfortunately, you're Edward Cullen. You have no charisma. Your charisma stat is like a negative, not a negative, your charisma stat is a 4.
Hopefully in the new Batman then he's got more charisma, because Batman needs a bit of charisma.
I mean, that might have better writing, but we're also talking about the DCEU, so it probably won't.
Oh, is this like the DC movies or whatever?
Yes.
So
because
like the
Ben Affleck
Batman
left.
v Superman universe?
What?
I mean like the Batman v Superman.
Yeah, because the whole thing is that both Ben Affleck as well as Henry Cavill left. So the DCEU no longer has a Batman or a Superman. Henry Cavill was like, fuck it. Instead, I'm just gonna like star as Geralt in The Witcher because Netflix is making a Witcher series.
So you're telling me they jumped ship?
Yes. And like compare that to like the fucking Marvel movies where like the actors in it love being a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, some of them finally decide it's time for them to leave, but still.
Well, yeah, and some of those, it's less a whole thing of them actually actively wanting to leave and more just being like, yeah, I've been part of this for like 10 plus years. I think it's time for my character to go.
Yeah.
It's not a whole thing of, oh god, this is awful. I've only been in 2 movies, but I don't want to be in any more.
Yeah, but like props to like the, writers of the Marvel thing to just be like, all right, cool. Bye.
Yeah. I will say, I do find it funny. Paul Rudd, the guy who plays Ant-Man, if you actually look at him in other movies, like from way back then, he doesn't age. And that's actually something that's been brought up by the CEOs at Marvel. Or like by the higher-ups at Marvel Studios.
That he doesn't age?
Yes! They're like,
we're sorry if this breaks your immersion, but this dude doesn't age. It's not our fault.
If we try to de-age him in a movie, we can't.
He looks the same no matter where we are.
Like, apparently he is, it's a good chance that he actually is immortal. For all we know.
Like his character or him in real life?
Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd doesn't age.
We found on accident from being in the movies.
Much like Keanu Reeves. He doesn't age.
Here's the question, Doug. Do both of those people deserve to be immortal?
Well, yes, because Keanu Reeves is Keanu Reeves. That man is a national treasure. We're talking about a celebrity who still rides the subway to get to places. I'm like, nice. Nah, I don't need any fancy cars or anything. I'm just gonna ride the subway so that I can still interact with people. Oh, member of the paparazzi secretly took my photo without my permission. I'm gonna nab his camera and run off with it.
I thought that was from a movie.
No, it was the legitimate thing of him having stolen one of the paparazzi members' cameras.
Could have sworn that was fake or something. Oh well, either way. Here's the thing though, it's believable.
Yeah.
Which just puts him at top tier already. Oh. And then what about Ant-Man boy?
I mean, Paul Rudd's just kind of he's just kind of a gem.
He's just here too. He's not Keanu Reeves.
Looking at the Keanu Reeves thing, there's multiple photos of him being chased. Because it's there's 4 pictures of him running off with these people chasing him.
Yeah, I thought that was for a movie or something.
Well, there's another picture of him at his house taking a mirror selfie with it.
Oh, wow.
Wait, Daily Dot, photos of Keanu Reeves stealing paparazzi cameras are fake. Oh, there's an adorable picture of him with a dog.
He's the John Wick guy, right?
Yes.
I loved all those stupid memes about, Thanos killing John Wick's dog and then being worried.
Oh, shit. Gonna do, shotgun headshot combos on me.
I really wonder how well a gun would have worked on Thanos.
Depends on the gun.
And if you have the reality stone, if I recall. Because somebody did try to shoot him in the face when Bubbles came out.
Yes, but then Keanu would probably start beating him to death with the gun.
Can't shoot, gonna bludgeon.
We're talking about the same guy who murdered 2 people with a fucking pencil.
2?
With the same pencil.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Usually only use a pencil on one guy. How do you keep that thing around for 2?
It was the same fight.
Well, yeah, but I would have assumed the pencil would have broken at some point. He managed to
successfully get into one guy's neck and ripped it out and put in the other guy's.
Jesus, how sharp was that pencil?
Not very. That makes it hurt. You do not get in John Wick's way. Anyway, it's still your line.
Really?
It's right after the better color part about corpses.
This was actually true. I was concerned that I might have to avenge your murder. And I would have. Jesus fucking Christ, Edward. You would calm the fuck down, dude.
Poor Mike. Don't pity Mike. She sighed. Bet he's mad.
Fury pulsed through me, but I contained it quickly. Her concern was surely just pity. She was kind. That was all.
Is she? Is anyone in these stories kind? He absolutely loathes me, I told her, cheered by that idea. What?
What? You can't know that.
I saw his face, I could tell. Also, he doesn't make it much of a secret through his voice. They're both known for acting like dicks around each other, even more so than usual.
Yeah.
It was probably true that reading his face would have given me enough information to make that particular deduction. All this practice with Bella was sharpening my skill at reading human expressions. You're 100 years old. Kind of the whole thing of like, you can typically generally tell like what the expression of the majority of things are if you have any basic people skills.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to fucking read my dog's mind to figure out what it's thinking. Wants food, or to cuddle, or both. You there?
Huh? Oh, shit. Sorry. I hear my parents in the other room, and I don't know if they're leaving yet.
They came into this room too?
No. It's just I can hear them through the door, and they're supposed to go somewhere, and I was thinking about going back, but
Oh, yeah.
How did you see me? I thought you were ditching. Her face looked better. The green undertone had vanished from her translucent skin.
Yeah, and I'm
green blood.
Really weirded out by the fetishization of paleness.
I mean, maybe it's like that Japanese or Asian, whatever it was, style of makeup where you have a really white face. Maybe she likes that.
She's gonna say it. I'd rather deal with a Ganguro girl.
The dark skin?
Because at least that's not just a whole thing of... At least that's a whole thing where you could trick me into thinking that you go outside. Like, seriously. I like to do things outside. I don't want to worry about someone I'm with bursting into flames the moment we walk out of the door.
Is that why you don't date any vampires?
Not the Earth ones.
So you like rainbow drinkers, at least?
Yes, but those spend all their time in the sun. At least with here, like, I'm nocturnal, but again, I can just, like, use something to cover myself up. It's not like the sun's here nearly as bad as it was on Alternia, and that it could blind you in 1 second when you looked up. Like, I can usually wear shades.
Why aren't there sunglasses in them?
Well, for one, everyone's nocturnal. They don't need them. If you're asleep at the time the big Bernie thing is out, you don't need to shield yourself from the big Bernie thing.
But you should still have it just in case. Some people run late. Maybe they're on their way home, and what are they going to do? Just burn to death?
Well, it's not like your entire body's burning. I mean, yes, it's hot as fuck, but again, it's just a thing where you go blind. Maybe something will eat you in your moment of weakness. Who knows?
That'll be... I tried. Alright. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Her expression?
Wait, no, shit. I never finished my line. I was in my car listening to a CD. There we go.
You're in my car with my, mini Lamborghini. I can't afford a real one, so I put a fake one in my car.
You know what I like more than my Lamborghini? Knowledge.
Which I don't have. I can't even afford a garage.
Here in my bathroom, playing with my weenie.
Here in my kitchen, making some linguine.
Okay, you do know the thing I was referencing. Fucking, like... I'm trying to remember who all was in that animation. Because I know that there was Wildcat. And Vanoss. But
It's been a while.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure who else was in there. Was Omewrecker in there? I don't think that H2O Delirious was.
Probably Dahi.
Oh no, Joe.
Oh no, Joe. No, Joe.
Hi guys, it's Dot here.
I was subscribed to him for a while.
I mean, I'm still subscribed to him. I just don't ever actually watch his videos.
I actually update my subscribers with watching and who I'm not because I'm weird.
Like,
so I've unsubbed and resubbed people several times before.
I have this terrible habit of like forgetting to sub people who I start binge watching. So, like, I've started watching a whole bunch of shit that Cartoon's done, including his entire God of War playthrough.
How's
and
that
I'm
going?
still not subbed to him. Like, I'm not subbed to Mother's Basement, despite the fact that I watch almost everything he puts out.
There's one guy I started watching called Spiffing Brit that I'm not subbed to, but I like every video he...
I'm trying to remember if I actually got around to subscribing to Strange Eons.
Who's that?
This lady from Toronto who does a few things, making fun of Onision. She has a series called Tumblr Deep Dives, which I find a lot more interesting than literally anything else that has to do with Tumblr on YouTube, because of the fact that it's an actual look at different subcultures on Tumblr without just going around going, oh, it's all cringe, it's all terrible. It's just like, yeah, this is an interesting demographic, or yeah, this is fucking terrifying.
Is she the one who did the video about those crazy Tumblr people who are super obsessed with school shooters?
Can't remember if she did that one. I do know that she covered the teacher crush one.
Oh, that sounds scary.
Yes, as well as she covered the parasexual tab.
Para what?
Is people with, like, weird, often dangerous fetishes. Like necrophilia.
Oh.
And pedophilia sometimes. Yeah.
No.
There's a whole thing, like, she's jokingly said before, it's like, I have people, like, all the time saying, hey, cover the pro-anorexia stuff, like, other horrific stuff like that. It's like, nah, I'd rather just cover, like, the Furby fandom, or, like, Goblin Core.
Goblin Core?
Yes, it's a goblin aesthetic group, and it is absolutely hilarious.
Oh, I thought that would have been, like, a music group.
No, like, basically it's just a whole bunch of, like, people whose only concern is collecting shiny things. I'm not kidding. It was like the one time she ended up, like, going to look at, like, the radical feminists on Tumblr. She instead came across, like, let's see, I'm trying to remember what it was. TERF. Like the TERF group, which is trans-exclusive radical feminism. And so it's just a whole bunch of people that are like, yeah, we're about female empowerment, but also fuck trans people. It's like, what?
I really only want real OG women in my group.
I mean, sometimes those real OG women have dicks.
Oh, God.
But yeah, it's like, it's the only thing I've seen where someone's, like, looking at, like, Tumblr that's actually done in any way that's the least bit interesting. Because it's not just, oh, we're just here to cringe, but instead it's just, yeah, this shit's weird. But some of it is honestly kind of amazing. Like, she ended up looking through Vulture Culture, which is one of the most weirdly, like, fucking wholesome things you'll ever find, and it's literally just a whole bunch of people that collect bones.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's harmless as long as they're not, you know.
Yeah, it's literally just a whole thing of, oh, I found, like, this dead animal, so I decided to do this process to, like, strip the meat from the bones and stuff like that so I can keep the bones.
Now I have a collection of heads of all the dead birds in my yard.
Yeah.
Is it creepy? A bit. Is it dangerous? Maybe to me, I could get sick. Is it harmful? No, so who cares?
Yeah, it's the whole thing of, like, so long as you're not going out and, like, killing animals exclusively for this reason.
Or grave robbing.
Yeah.
This is a human femur I found.
One of the things I saw that made me laugh is this person who was, like, was taking a photo with, like, while holding the skull of a draft horse. And that thing is absolutely massive. It was, like, the size of her entire torso.
Well, of course, it's a horse.
Not only that, but a very big horse. But yeah, I guess if anyone wants an interesting channel run by a lesbian from Toronto, check out Strange Eons.
And if you like people who, break video games, check out Spiffing Brit.
Or possibly Tear of Grace. He also breaks video games. He's recently started doing just like Binding Isaac's builds that are just initially broken. Broken from the very beginning.
Alright, what happened?
What?
I was in the bathroom and I muted myself because I was flushing.
Oh, got ya.
So I couldn't hear anything over the sound of a toilet.
I got ya.
Anyways, what were you saying?
Tear of Grace. He also has a habit of breaking video games.
Oh, how so?
Well, before it was by playing the Sonic series, which is entirely broken.
Oh.
And so
I don't even mean like
Sonic 06 and stuff where he'd accidentally
within the game's confines, like he finds a way to make like unit production, like unit cost as low as physically possible.
Oh, he's also started doing stuff like intentional breaks and Binding of Isaac.
Oh.
Granted, they tend to break in ways he wasn't expecting, or ways that he was expecting that aren't really helpful, such as like firing so much stuff off at once that the game crawls to a frame per minute.
Oh.
So everything in the room is dead, but also I can't move.
No, Spiffing Brit does everything within like the game's confines that are like normal and legal. Like he plays like those old RTS games on like the modes that like actually let you do achievements, and he gets like infinite money through the game legally. Stuff like that.
I'm trying to remember,
I think he played Prison Architect, but all he did was make trees.
Well then.
And he made a profit off of it.
I'm trying to remember what was like one of the most ridiculous builds that Tear of Grace has done, because he did one at one point with Burning Bush combined with other stuff, and it was just like an infinite flamethrower.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And then there was the time he started experimenting with tetrachromacy, which is a thing that shoots like tears off in all directions.
Does he does stuff with the mouth blood laser?
Brimstone?
Yeah, Brimstone or Mom's Knife. Does he do fancy stuff with that?
He used to do stuff with Brimstone, but Brimstone has a habit of breaking synergy, so not so much.
Aw, big rip.
Well, it's the whole thing. If you have something that's suddenly sending like stuff all around the room, and then you throw in Brimstone, all of a sudden that's just concentrated into one area, so...
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you get lucky with, like, Meteor or something, to where all of a sudden the Brimstone creates a circle around you before going forward. But...
Yeah.
Otherwise, not so much.
Or
Mom's Knife, however...
Brimstone.
What?
Or you get, like, the Psychic Brimstone that you can, like, control, that's just a circle.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to remember what thing he did that was kind of like that, because he created, like, just this thing that, like, would go around the room. Oh, no, there was a time he created a lava hula hoop around him that, like, just did ridiculous amounts of damage.
Jesus.
Yeah. Because I think he also combined that with Ipecac. Mother's Knife was interesting, especially when he started using a mod that created an item called Isaacs, which turned every, all the tears and stuff into Isaac's face. And so, like, with Mother's Knife, it was literally, like, his face on the blade, eternally screaming. Anyway.
Yeah?
I believe it's your line. Her expression twitched.
Her expression twitched like my very ordinary answer had surprised her somehow.
She opened her eyes again when Mrs. Hammond returned with an ice pack.
Here you go, dear, the nurse said as she laid it across Bella's forehead. You're looking better.
I think I'm fine, Bella said, and she sat up while pulling the ice pack away. Of course, she didn't like to be taken care of.
Mrs. Hammond's wrinkled hands fluttered towards the girl, as if she were going to push her back down.
No,
down,
you're not doing well. Stay.
I don't care if you can take care of yourself. I'm taking care of you.
You fainted. You need to stay.
But then Miss Cope opened the door to the office and leaned in. With her appearance came the smell of fresh blood. Just a whiff.
Invisible in the office behind her, Mike Newton was still very angry, wishing the heavy boy he dragged now was the girl who was in here with me.
Big rip.
I wish everyone in this story would just get over themselves.
Mm-hmm. Sadly, they won't.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, if you read the regular Twilight books, you can at least get some dumb fun out of it, because, yeah, the character's stupid, but at least they're not, like
pretentious.
Edward. Like, the whole issue with this is we're stuck inside Edward's head.
We can't escape the mean thoughts.
We can't escape this dick. And usually for me, that's a good thing. But wait.
No. Talking about different kinds of dicks here.
I'm usually okay with not being able to escape.
We've got another one, Miss Cope said.
Bella quickly jumped down from the cot, eager to be out of the spotlight.
Here, she said, handed the compressed pack back to Miss Hammond. I don't need this.
Mike
Bella runs
grunted
out of the
it.
room. Fuck you, I don't trust doctors!
She yeeted herself out the window.
She was immediately brought back into the nurse's office for injuries.
Mike grunted as he half-shoved Lee Stevens through the door. Blood was still dripping down the hand Lee held to his face, trickling down toward his wrist.
Oh no, this is my cue to leave, and Bella's too. It seemed. Get out of the office, Bella.
She stared up at me with bewildered eyes.
She then decided to stay.
No, fuck you.
Trust me. Go.
Question is, do we want to try another page, or?
You decide. Decided on a coin flip.
She whirled and caught the door before it had swung shut, rushing toward the office. I followed a few inches behind her, her swinging hair brushed my hand.
It slapped me in the face.
You are fucking weird.
Who, me?
Him.
She turned to look at me, still wide-eyed.
Why are you reaching out to touch my hair? You actually listened to me. That was a first.
Her small nose wrinkled. I smelled the blood.
Well, yeah, it smells like copper. Not a fun smell.
Really? Have you smelled actual copper before? Like, do you just shove
pennies.
a penny in your nose?
It smells like how pennies taste. I stared at her in blank
I need to get a penny. Hold on.
I stared at her in blank surprise. People can't smell blood. Yes, they fucking can, you idiot. Fuck off.
Edward's a big stupid.
Yes, he is.
Well, I can. That's what makes me sick. It smells like rust and salt.
I wouldn't say it smells like rust. Again, it just kind of smells like pennies.
Maybe Bella's just smelling herself.
Her face froze, my face froze, still staring.
Was she really even human? She looked human. She felt soft as a human. She smelled human. Better, actually. She acted human, sort of. But she didn't think like a human or responded like one.
People can smell blood, you dumb fuck.
People also don't always act like normal. We need to sit Edward down and have a talk with him about his behavior.
Dumbassery.
You can put it that way, I suppose.
What other option was there?
Go home. Was that really the line? Ugh.
What?
What? She demanded.
It's nothing.
Mike Newton interrupted us then, entering the room with resentful, violent thoughts.
Everybody just fuck off.
Mike Newton came into the room, sliding across the slippery floor with a dab.
You see, now that would be interesting. Stupid, but interesting.
Mike Newton just becomes some stupid meme lord.
Mike Newton just hitting Edward with that sick dab.
Oh yeah, but can Edward do this? Dab.
Yes. And everyone can. Mike, what is wrong with you?
There's nothing wrong with me. What do you mean?
Everybody can dab, Mike.
But can they do it properly?
Yes. It's kind of hard to improperly dab. Yeah.
I bet I'd dab improperly.
I'm pretty sure it would take, like, conscious effort to do it wrong.
Or, ignorance.
And at that point, you're just someone's parent. You're just doing it wrong on purpose to piss them off. You're purposefully doing things wrong to embarrass them.
Chaotic neutral parent.
Just parent in general. Chaotic parent. Chaotic dad.
Chaotic dad. You have lawful dad, neutral dad, and chaotic dad.
Chaotic dad hitting him with that chaotic dab. It's like he also makes sure to like act like he's sneezing while doing it.
Achoo! Oh god. Some dads are just what are you doing there, son? Blocking your nose because you got to sneeze? I think I'll try that. Huh? Achoo! I could just see the utter look of dread on some kid's face.
So is this one Pikachu? Now this one's gotta be Pikachu, right?
My dad tries to call it Pokegirl for some reason.
I mean, knowing your search history.
For your information, I don't like those that much. I like Monster Girls, not Pokegirls, dude.
I mean, granted, there's only ever one that I found entertaining. It was like a Gardevoir with like that whole like next sign, and it said I googled pictures of myself despite being told not to.
Oh, you just reminded me of something beautiful that I need to show you.
I swear to God, if it's Gardevoir porn.
It's by an artist who draws a shit ton of Gardevoir porn, but it of itself is actually not.
Because I have seen way too much of that for my entire lifetime. Like, yeah, it's a cool Pokemon design, but why is there so much porn?
Because it's feminine. It's not hard to draw it with porn.
What the fuck did I just... Oh god, I'm trying to find the picture with the sign because that one makes me laugh so much.
There it is. This is a good wholesome picture. Even if it's by somebody who draws a shit ton of porn. Here.
Okay. Well.
I always like it when like the little chess piece of Gardevoir, they mess with the size and shape of that. That's always funny to me.
Yeah, that's a lot more interesting. That is weird porn. Okay.
Like this isn't porn. This is a joke image.
No. What you showed isn't porn. I was just trying to find that sign picture, and I ended up finding weird porn. Let's see. Where is it? Because it's one I saved to my phone just because it made me laugh. There we go.
I think it would be Poke-shaming or something.
Something like that.
I keep using a track to my trainer to get what I want. Oof.
That's not the one.
Yeah.
I just put the one.
I make all the batteries useless.
Yeah. I searched my own name on the internet despite being told not to. There's a lot of weird Gardevoir pictures.
Of course.
I mean, granted, I guess at least this one isn't technically a furry. Not weird furry porn. It's more, I guess, akin to weird. I can't like the shape of my trainer and hit on strangers. Okay.
Yep.
Anyway. I believe you said your line, so you look better, he said to her rudely.
My hand twitched, wanting to teach him some manners. Bitch, you ain't got manners.
You both need to be taught a lesson. I'll get my shovel.
I'd have to watch myself or I would end up actually killing this obnoxious boy. Bitch, you're obnoxious.
You're both fucking obnoxious. You're both brats who need someone to keep you in line. I know a few people I could probably call, but I don't think they'd want to put up with you two.
Ghostbusters?
That was making a BDSM joke.
Who do you think would win? Edward the vampire boy or a T-Rex?
I mean, I'd much rather deal with the T-Rex anytime, but...
I say who would win, though.
Oh, who would win?
Yeah.
Kind of depends on what situation.
He can't snap the neck of a T-Rex easily, but the T-Rex probably can't catch him.
Yeah, the T-Rex isn't exactly like the wolf shapeshifter people.
Yeah. I could just picture like a vampire gnawing at the legs of a T-Rex, trying to suck the blood out of it.
Okay, let's see. Just keep your hand in your pocket, she said. For a wild second, I thought she was talking to me. Both of you, hands in pockets, like children in a fucking, store. Make sure they don't steal shit.
Yeah. It's not bleeding anymore, he answered sullenly. Are you going back to class?
I want to beat Edward's face in with his face.
Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
Why are you hitting this guy? Are you kidding? I'd just have to turn around and come back.
Plug your nose.
That might actually work.
That was very good. I thought I was going to have to miss this whole hour with her, and now I have extra time instead. I felt greedy. A miser hoarding over each minute.
Yay. Yeah,
Burger,
I guess.
Master Burger.
Mumbled. So, are you going this weekend to the beach?
They have plans. Anger froze me in place. It was a group trip, though. I'd seen some of his other students' heads. It was just the two of them. I was still furious. I leaned emotionally against the counter, trying to control myself.
Shut up. I think that's where we're going to leave it because I cannot deal with much more Edward.
Yeah, fuck Edward.
We need more Alice. Bring back Alice.